And we're now getting some more inputs after IAF Chief's Pakistan aircraft downed revelation. Now, Chief of Army Staff has detailed Operation Sindoor and described Operation Sindoor as a game of chess. General Dwivedi has mocked Pakistan's victory claim, saying that enemy was making chess moves. So after IAF Chief's aircraft downed revelation yesterday, in which he stated that 5 fighter jets were downed of Pakistan. In fact, another aircraft was also downed by India during Operation Sindoor. Now, Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi has also detailed Operation Sindoor, describing the operation as game of chess, and he also mocked Pakistan's victory claim, and he said that the enemy was making chess moves.
Now, what does it mean? It means we did not know what is the next move the enemy is going to take and what are we going to do. This is something we called about the grey zone. Grey zone is that we are not going for the conventional operations, but we are doing something which is just short of the conventional operations. Conventional operations means go with everything, Clausewitzian approach. Take whatever you have. And if you are able to come back, it's okay, otherwise stay there. But that is the thing which we talk about the conventional approach. Here the grey zone is any activity which is taking place in all domains. That is something which we are talking about, and Operation Sindoor taught us that this is the grey zone. So we were making the chess moves. He was also making the chess moves. Somewhere we were giving him checkmate, and somewhere we were kind of going in for the kill, at the risk of even losing our own, but that's the way life is all about.
So that was Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi speaking on Operation Sindoor, describing it as a game of chess. And in fact, he also mocked Pakistan's victory claim, saying that the enemy was making chess moves. My colleague Shivani is now joining us with more context on this. Shivani, after IAF Chief now, General Dwivedi, who's the Chief of Army Staff, has also spoken up on Operation Sindoor, calling it a game of chess.
Anjali, the Army Chief, General Upendra Dwivedi, has spoken into details about how it was being prepared after 22nd when Pahalgam attack happened. And he said that on 23rd, there was an important meeting where the Defence Minister, Rajnath Singh, and all the other chiefs, they were deciding on to what's to be done. And they were given a free hand. That's very important out here, the statement of the Defence, the Chief of Army Staff. He's saying that the free hand was given, and they were told that to decide what is to be done. And there were a lot of allegations and a lot of questions that were being asked, especially from the opposition party, about the forces not being given the free hand. Anjali, you remember, in the parliament also these questions were there. So now there's so much clarity after the Indian Air Force Chief's address yesterday. Now the Army Chief is saying that they had all the freedom to operate, and they were also told by the Defence Minister that enough is enough. So they have to decide for some action. And what he was speaking about the chess was the grey zone, because they did not know what the enemy is going to do, but they had to take that risk. And in this whole operation, Indian weapon systems, along with the S-400s and the other air defense systems, they proved their mettle, Anjali, and we know the result, how Pakistan came onto its knees in just 4 days.
Absolutely, Shivani. Thank you so much for getting us that context. Let's also listen into what General Upendra Dwivedi said while mocking Pakistan.
And since Operation Sindoor, you may be actually saturated by seeing the TV and the parliamentary debates. So I will not spend much time on that. I will say how the technology came into play. But certain things important. 22nd April, you're aware what happened in Pahalgam, and it actually shocked the nation. 23rd is the time when next day itself, we all sat down. And this is the first time which RM has also said, I think enough is enough. And all the three chiefs were very clear, something has to be done. And the free hand was given, of course, that you decide what is to be done. And that is the kind of a confidence with the political directions and political clarity for the first time we saw. And that's what made a difference, because we want to do a lot, but that kind of hand-holding and kind of free, no terms of restrictions, if I can say that. And that is what kind of raises up your morale. And that is how it helped our army commanders or commander-in-chiefs on ground to kind of act as per their wisdom. Of course, then 25th, we visited the Northern Command, as you're aware, that is the place where we thought, planned, conceptualized, and executed the 7 targets out of the 9 which were destroyed. and where a lot of terrorists were killed. 29th April, of course, was the time when we met the Prime Minister for the first time, and thereafter, next day, of course, why I'm telling you this? Because it's important that how a small name, Op Sindoor, connects the whole nation. And I was telling director also that when he briefed me on this, he said, okay, we'll have this name Op Sindhu. And I thought it is Op Sindhu. Sindhu is basically Indus River. So I said, excellent, sir. Indus Water Treaty has just been frozen by you. He said, no, it is Op Sindoor. And just see, this one name has connected the whole nation together. And today people are saying Sindoor to Sindhu, everything we have taken care of. But that is something which galvanized the whole nation as such. And the soldiers per se, because when I went on ground and I told them that, look, any sister, mother, daughter, whenever she applies the vermilion or the Sindoor, she will always remember the soldier. And I think that was the connect. And I think that was the connect which they brought the whole nation together for one cause. And that is the reason I think the whole nation was saying, why have you stopped? I think that's the question which was being asked. But of course, that has been amply answered by. So the strategic clarity was in dime. That is diplomatic, information, military and economic. And that's why you see that the IWT was frozen. Then High Commission strength was reduced. The defense personnel were moved out. Persona non grata, they were declared. And visas were revoked.
And my colleague Shivani continues to stay with us. Shivani, General Upendra Dwivedi also recalled how the operation was named Operation Sindoor and how he connected Sindhu to Sindoor.
See, Anjali, this whole operation has been a perfect example of integration between the government, between the forces and the forces themselves. You remember, this is the operation where the Army, Navy, Air Force and all the other intelligence agencies, the ISRO, in terms of the satellite inputs, they all coordinated together. And the Operation Sindoor, the name, what the chief is saying, has connected the whole nation, because, you know, it all started after Pahalgam attack, and the nation was on a high emotion, and that's why the Operation Sindoor name that avenged the Pahalgam deaths was named. And he says that this was the reason why Operation Sindoor was chosen as a name, because this was not an operation of the forces, this was the operation of how India retaliated and responded to terror. So this is how the details are now being divulged by the chiefs, Anjali. And he says that operational freedom was given, there was no pressure, and it was decided by the defense minister that you go all out. They met the Prime Minister on 29th, and once again it was reiterated that we want a very strong action against the terrorists, and that's how these terror targets inside Pakistan were destroyed, where more than 100 terrorists were killed.
Right, Shivani, thank you so much for those details and for that context.